Right, let's take you to Durban now at the World Economic Forum focusing on Africa, where a session with American actor Forest Whitaker is currently underway.
You were in South Sudan a few days ago. Can you tell us about what you saw and what you did there?
Well, I saw a number of things. I mean, we were there to check on the programs that we have. We were launching a new program in Budwe in the Western Equatorias in Yambio. But initially when I first went in, I went and addressed the students at Juba University to speak with them, just to encourage them on their path of learning and what they could do for the country to recognize their own power. And then we went into Yambio, where we started to initiate the program, which is a Youth Peacemaker Network program. We were training the youth in conflict resolution, ICT and computer technologies, life skills, and business and entrepreneurial skills. They'll be going through this program for a while. We had already established the program in the two states in Eastern Equatoria. So now we're working on Yambio, or working on Western Equatoria states, the four now that we're in.
And what's your impression of young people there? What are the things that they're telling you?
I have to say that South Sudanese are very resilient, very strong. It's a really powerful spirit, you know, because they're dealing with some difficult things right now. It's a really difficult time in the country. They're aware that the people are leaving the country. Obviously, there's 1.8 million people displaced, 1.7 million people as refugees. They're aware because also it's their family members and others. Even my youths have sent some of their family, particularly their wives and children, to neighboring refugee camps. They're aware of that. There's frustration because of food insecurity. I think the food insecurity in the country is now almost 50% of the country. 5 million people are food insecure in the country. And so they're aware of it on a personal level because it's affecting, one, the inflation that's happening with money for them, being able to even purchase foodstuffs for themselves. Because of the conflict, they've had to move out of regions and areas, leaving behind their agricultural crops, leaving behind their businesses and their work to be able to find safety. So the youths have expressed that a number of times to me, talking to me about insecurity along the roads. There's a lot of insecurity in regards to banditry, in regards to dealing with both sides of the confrontation that are going on. They have to deal with both. And of course, the issues of gender with the women in traveling and things of that nature, and how rape as an instrument of war has happened a lot in the country. So all of those things they're aware of. I think there's the issues of water, food aid, issues of sanitation, issues of health. All of those sort of basic needs are being dealt with, or they're struggling with a lot of those things. But again, I mean, I can say through the people I'm working with the youth I'm working with, there's a resiliency and a power and a belief that they can move themselves forward even during this difficult time.
Yeah, when we spoke briefly earlier, you actually said you were correct me if I'm wrong. You said you were optimistic about the youth there, despite the experiences that they've been through.
I would have to be optimistic because when you train youths in war zones where there is a deep conflict, whether it's intertribal conflict or whether it's military conflict or however, and the youths so far have really taken on the mantle of being peace builders and community builders. I mean, they have went into schools where armies have taken over and convinced them to leave, to get the soldiers to leave so the children can go back. They have negotiated crises between tribes where cattle and different things have been stolen, and there would be a war because of certain things that have been stolen. They've negotiated those things. One of them became a member of parliament. One of them became the president of the youth union. Mm-hmm. The governor requested them to be mediators for the state, they've taken it upon themselves to go out into the different communities to try to communicate the peace agreement in different tribal languages. So I recognizing the difficulty and the hardships that they may be going through, I can't help but remain hopeful if these type of accomplishments can go on during this really unbelievably difficult time in the country, and where I have to be honest, I'm really surprised that more of them haven't left. So far, my entire team that was youths that have been trained there have stayed and are continuing to work. They sent their wives and their children, to refugee camps. We just started a program in a refugee camp in Kiryondongo in Uganda, and some of my youths have sent their family there. We started the program recently. We launched it just about a week ago. That is the kind of resiliency that I think you want to believe in, and you have to try to believe in. Now the question is, when you look at it on a more global level, who's going to step up and actually bring the players to the table to have a real discussion to try to solve this problem of conflict in the country? Because underneath that layer, there's a group of people who hope for it. I felt it there. I felt it the other day when I was in the refugee camp. I had discussions. The youth would explain to me how they were feeling about things, talking about their grievances, different things of that nature. So that's why I have that hopeful idea, because I've seen it.
You talk about people or organisations stepping up. I mean, there've been repeated alarms sounded by the UN on the risk of genocide or famine in South Sudan, and things don't seem to improve on the ground. What's your feeling of the international community? Do you think it's played its role to prevent the escalation of violence in South Sudan?
I think the international community has to continue to push forward the agenda of building peace in the country. I think that they can't step down.
All right, well, that was proceedings from the World Economic Forum there. A conversation with the renowned American actor Forest Whitaker, who's saying that through his journey in the African continent, he's very impressed very optimistic rather, about the growth and change within the continent. He says he's impressed with the current steps that are being taken to alleviate both poverty as well as inequality. He says, he stresses this, however, he says that discussions need to take place on the issues of conflicts that's in your places like your South Sudan, and of course the militant groups like your Boko Haram across the continent. These are the issues that of course the African leaders need to sit down and stamp out before it leads to, of course, the migration of people and business from the African continent to migrate to other countries.